Hi, I'm Douglas Knight, and the next meeting of the working group of the St Augustine Institute on 27th January 2010, we discuss 5 questions. The first, what's the relationship between economics and the economy? Economics, of course, a wonderful description of the way we can interact with one another for specific purposes, for short terms, and we will interact willingly when we're convinced that we can get into and get out of such relationships freely. But if we take economics to give us justification for trapping one another into economic relationships in which we lose our willingness, then that has an adverse economic effect. People are afraid to get into transactions and economic relations if they think they can't get out of them, because the market is determined by various people who've captured it. So there is a feedback between economics, good on the small and controlled definition, counterproductive on a large and spreading definition that takes us into management and all sorts of agendas which load additional burdens on an economy. There's a feedback between economics and economy. That's point 1. Point 2, an economy is always about continuity. That's to say, it's the job of every generation to prepare for the next generation and ultimately to get out of its way. So the question is, could it be that this present generation is reluctant to prepare for and get out of the way of the next generation? Could we have so seized the short term that we've closed it off against the future and against the long term? If we have, that has an immediate economic consequence. So we could say that markets are already anticipating our reluctance to let go. Relates, of course, to the baby boomer phenomenon we talked about last time. Third point, I think when economics is out of control, not well disciplined by the rest of the humanities, it becomes a bad theology, and it develops into a secularist eschatology. That's to say, it exactly grasps the present and begins to reinforce it against the future. So we find it unfair that some people work and other people don't. So we all want to clamber out of productive industries, hard work, labour, not having enough money or security, into the middle classes. And so we build a kind of secular kingdom of God on earth in which we're all middle class. We're all solely engaged in service industries. None of us is prepared to wait and look forward to and anticipate the future. But, of course, the human being is exactly the being with future. We have to look forward and anticipate. And that involves us in risk and responsibility. We're open and exposed to what comes. We do not know and cannot control it. So then we can set up a contrast, can't we, between secularism, which is trying to overdetermine the present, and secularity. Now, secularity, that's a good thing. It's just another word for openness. That openness comes out of Christian culture. That's to say, the Western culture that's long been influenced by the Christian preparedness to wait and be patient and to meet those it doesn't know. So secularity prepares us for encounters with people we don't know, and that keeps us open to the future and gives us an economic dynamism, gives us strong motivations. So then we're comparing two sorts of theology, good and bad. And it's always incumbent on the Christians to point out that if it's bad theology, it's bad even in practical, pragmatic, economic ways. And that may be one of the reasons why we're now facing a financial crisis. Financial crisis is caused by a poor account of man, caused by bad theology. The only possible diagnosis of it and corrective of it is Christian theology and a more attentive listening to the Christian witness. So those are the 5 questions we're going to be talking about Thursday, 27th January in St Margaret, Lothbury. Bring your own questions and, of course, tea and cakes. See you then. Bye.